Now that I've got my camera, a new camera, I wanted to redo the Noam Chromsky video on which I was unable to actually get his face talking when he admits that even though he has no DNA, and nor does the Khazar or the Khazarian mafia, do not have a drop of Jewish DNA, still they are cultural Jews, okay? So if you don't know who the important man Noam Chromsky is, well, you look him up. But this is typical...
Bizarre theory. There's a theory, it's widely...
This is typical fake Jew arrogance.
accepted as anti-Semitic that Ashkenazi Jews come from the Khazars and they're not Levantine. But DNA tests...
It's not anti-Semitic, it's a question of fact. So, Shlomo San, for example, has argued that, I think probably exaggerated, but it's simply a question of fact. If my ancestors from the Ukraine have Khazar roots, changes nothing. I'm Jewish, my grandfather was Jewish, my family happens to have a story saying that we're descended from the Baal Shem Tov. Okay, that's part of the culture. Doesn't matter what the DNA shows. We live, this is a point that Ahad Ha'am made over a century ago. And
so some rabbi called Haradam 100 years ago, which is not long at all, said something so that overrides anything God or Moses
lectures on the two Moseses. He says, yes, there's a Moses of history who may have existed, may not have existed. There's a Moses of culture, and that exists as a cultural phenomenon. And it's the cultural phenomenon within our cultural tradition, whoever Moses might have been, and if he even existed. Yes, that's true. We live in a world of cultural traditions. Makes no difference what the DNA says. So, okay, if the DNA says we're not descended from the Baal Shem Tov, hence back to King David, but we're descended from somebody in the Caucasus, makes absolutely no difference to our identity. We should stop this silly game altogether. It's maybe of some scholarly historical interest, but of no significance for the modern world. The modern world is the cultural entities that we're part of, okay? Social and cultural entities. And so we should throw all that aside. They can play with it in biology labs in Israel where they're intent on showing something absurd. But we live in this world with its own cultural, social, political structures. And in this world, I'm Jewish, no matter what the DNA shows. There is an actual existing world in Israel-Palestine. I've already reviewed briefly what it is. Sharp discrimination against Palestinians within Israel, illegal settlements in occupied West Bank, destruction of Gaza. Those are the major phenomena we have to deal with. And there are ways to deal with them, and talking about what happened in the Bible is not going to help.
Okay, did you get that? So I think of the scripture that I can't quite find, but so I'm looking for my book of Joel, that foreigners will walk through her no more. Do you know the scripture? And no more will foreigners be in Israel. I think that pretty much sums it up, don't you? And just look at what it. I can't believe I can't find my book of Joel. I've got quite a story to do with it. So, oh yeah, here it is, just before Jonah. And if you don't know the book of Joel, just before Amos, and the last scripture is blessing for God's people. Then you will know that I, the Lord your God, dwell in Zion, my holy hill, Jerusalem, will be holy. Never again will foreigners invade her. Well, there's a foreign army invading her now, and they're the ones that are doing what they're doing to their own people and to Gaza.